Hi, it's Dwyer. August 5th, 2022. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Let's talk heavyweight boxing, but first remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now let me just share a sports fan story. This morning I was somewhere, I won't say where. I was wearing this jersey, San Diego Padre jersey. And the old guy where I was, who was in his 70s, I'm sure, right, saw me wearing the jersey. We started talking. He said, "Hey, what are you doing with a Padre jersey on?" I said, "Well, they just signed Juan Soto, so I thought I'd represent a little bit." So we laughed, we talked. He turned out to be the former owner of the San Jose Giants, a minor league team here in town. He got bought out, so in his second job, he's running and owning the business I was attending. So we talked about jerseys. He's a jersey collector. We talked about how these major league teams are, changing jerseys every 2 years to get money off old guys like us. Right now, all I can say is if you're into sports, you cherish those moments, right? Those moments make the whole thing worthwhile, right? He and I talked for several minutes about not just the Padres, but San Jose Giant baseball, who was on the team when he sold the team, and stuff like that. That's why these jerseys are so important, because they represent communities. They represent recollections. They're really part of a lifestyle. Understand, I'm a Yankee fan. He and I laughed about that. He knows I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan, but Juan Soto, right, joining the Padres is big news. I still think the Dodgers are the team to beat in the entire sport, right? But the Padres are on the rise. I'm representing in this video. Okay, let's talk further. Now, let me just say this, since we're into the sociology of sports. Life is unfair. It's very unfair. I'm Jamaican. I know all about Shelly Ann Fraser Price. Right? I follow in boxing Claressa Shields, right, who's unbeaten as I make this video. I noticed when I made the Claressa Shields Savannah Marshall video, there was a lot of blowback. You have a lot of people expecting Shields to lose. Right? Folks, just be aware of the fact that you're watching history, one of the best athletes of our time. Right? Offline, I bet on the WNBA. Right? I bet on women's tennis. But understand, again, life's unfair. In the world of athletics, I believe there are two positions that the world values more than every other position, right? With all due respect to the number of great athletes out there, and there are historical athletes among us, right? Tom Brady is historical. LeBron James is historical, right? These are guys who 50 years from now, people are going to be debating whether they were the best ever in their sports. But I would say that the two positions in the world of athletics that top everything else, and I've mentioned this before, is number one, the world's fastest man. Right? When you have a Usain Bolt, I know he's retired now, but when you have a guy like that, who is the consensus world's fastest man, I'm just telling you, he's the headliner, up against everyone else with the exception of, and again, life's unfair, the world's heavyweight champion. Right? I know there are a lot of champs in the sport. You have a fight right now that's having a problem getting funding. Two unbeaten fighters, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Right? Crawford's former promoter is saying that someone's going to have to subsidize that fight. But yet in the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury In my opinion, the consensus heavyweight champion. I know Usyk's there. Right, but if you had to pick one and say who's the true heavyweight champion, Fury is the guy who fought Deontay Wilder 3 times. That's the fight series that defines this era's heavyweight champion. Right? Anthony Joshua is box office. Beating him is not the same. Right? I think we all understand that Joshua has some off nights. Right? Usyk isn't Fury. I would say if you had to name one, and they're both Hall of Famers. I'm not questioning the credentials of either. Usyk's unbeaten as I make this video. But the heavyweight champion is Tyson Fury. Right now, Usyk wants to leave no doubt. Usyk wants to unify. Usyk wants to beat Joshua, then face Fury. That's his idea of making his case. It's a great approach. The problem is Tyson Fury has been knocked down, right, in multiple fights by Deontay Wilder. He got knocked down in a couple other fights in his career. He's in his 30s. There's money in the bank. He has a family. He's already beaten Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte, right? He's unbeaten. Where's the big upside for him at this stage of his career in facing a vibrant challenger in Alexander Usyk? Yes, the money would be there. Yes, the money would be good. But understand, Fury, when he fought Dillian Whyte, got more than 90,000 people to attend the fight. Understand, the rules are different at heavyweight. You don't have promoters scrounging around trying to come up with the money. The money's there when you're the consensus heavyweight champ. Now, believe it or not, and you've heard me mention big names, right? Fury, Usyk, Joshua, right? By the way, all of those guys are financially well off at this stage, right? But the heavyweight division really is wide open, isn't it? Tyson Fury himself has talked about wanting to retire. There's a possibility that the dominoes fall if Usyk beats AJ. Many people feel AJ walks away from the sport. Right? If AJ walks away from the sport, I don't think Fury sticks around to fight Usyk. So here is where one of the world's biggest sports positions opens up. Right? Suddenly you have Usyk there with the title. You have a whole group of guys who view Usyk as a visitor to the division. I'm not saying life's fair. I'm not saying that's right. Right? But you have a lot of people who are saying, wow, that Derek Chisora fight. Did Usyk look dominant in that fight? Right? The Anthony Joshua fight, there is a crowd. I know. There's Joshua Nation. Trust me, I've heard from you over the years. Who believes this is a great fighter, who's, stepped in some puddles. Okay. But you have another group who questions him, right? Gets his title by beating Charles Martin, who we'll talk about more in this video. Right? Is out on his feet against Vladimir Klitschko, who decides to take the round off. Right? You got the feeling that if Vladimir Klitschko was fighting a Tyson, a Lewis, a Larry Holmes, and he had the guy that badly hurt, he would leave no doubt. He would hit the accelerator. He would try to get the guy out of there. But it's Anthony Joshua. And there was the idea at the time of the Vladimir Klitschko fight that Joshua was in over his head against a fighter who hadn't fought for a year. Right? The idea is that Joshua is a weightlifter, a muscle builder, who looks good, but who is more of a bodybuilder than he is an elite heavyweight champion. Right? So, this opens